engaged approximately 1.5 million players during the quarter, down nearly 50% from the company's expectations.
BioWare Edmonton, the Veilguard studio, to be shuttered. What does it mean to be shuttered? Closed for business, not operating.
So why am I here? Why am I reviewing Dragon Age the Veilguard? A game that both you and I knew would be bad before I even started playing it. That's because you shysters just love to watch me suffer. You see, Dragon Age the Veilguard was the #1 most requested game that you guys wanted me to make a video on. And truth be told, I genuinely have a lot of fun making videos about the worst games imaginable. I just wasn't prepared for how bad this one was gonna be, which is why I fueled up with Factor. But unlike Joe Rogan's Factor, there's nothing to fear here. Factor takes the stress out of meal planning and makes things easy. All you gotta do with these bad boys is nuke them. Just make sure you take the gun out of the microwave first, so you can skip going to the store and all the prep work. Instead, there are 35 options for you to choose from, all of which can be delivered right to your door. Factor also offers a lot of snack options like smoothies and juices. Edible juice. It's got cucumber, pineapple-ys, and spinaccia. I do save a lot of time with Factor. Thanks to them, I've been able to make this video a little bit quicker since I haven't had to worry about what I have to eat. And that's been pretty nice. So use my link in the description or pinned comment, and when you get there, use my code RENJAN50 to get 50% off and free shipping on your first Factor box. Doing so will genuinely help out the channel. Once again, that's code RENJAN50 for 50% off and free shipping. And of course, big thanks to Factor for sponsoring today's video. So I ran into troubles before even starting the game. I couldn't even access the main menu. I'm pressing not just any button, but all the buttons. Buttons on my controller, buttons on the keyboard. But after spending 30 minutes in the character creation screen, I created a character I was happy with. The name is Krorvik. The 7 is silent. And I quickly began my adventure. And you know what? Once I started playing, this game didn't seem all that bad at first. Rolling into crates to break them was satisfying. The sound effects were visceral and punchy. The skill tree was intriguing. I actually found myself thinking, hey, what's the big deal here? How could this game have gotten so much hate? I mean, it looked pretty, and the combat hadn't worn me down. Yet. It felt good exploring, finding little knickknacks off the beaten path. Oh, I'm the king of secrets. And I was actually really enjoying the sense of progression. Unlocking skills felt satisfying as it granted new abilities that had an actual impact on gameplay, and it felt like I was genuinely invested in my choices here. I'm gonna go with Reaper, because that sounds the most fun. And my heart had opened up to Veilguard when I spoke to the most beautiful woman I'd ever seen in this video game. I was especially attracted to that dead look in her eyes, her lack of legs, and her sense of fashion. I've never seen a girl be able to pull off wearing a kitchen accessory as well as she has. Oh, and her name. Just the sound of her name makes my heart flutter. Her name was Nev, as in... I knew, the instant that I saw her, that Nev was gonna be my sweet baby. Now, much like this wall you see behind me, Veilguard seems passable at first glance, but once you start looking at it a little more deeply, it starts to reveal its true form. Alright, looks actually surprisingly fun. Okay. What? I fucked the devil? Do you see this? What the, look! Pillow piss. What does that mean? What is that? Whoever wrote this stuff seriously hasn't... The game has no respect at all for the player's intelligence. Like, I don't know if y'all knew this, but in the beginning of the game, 2 elven gods got released from their imprisonment.
The elven gods. The creatures that escaped. It didn't go as cleanly as we hoped. Solus got pulled into the Fade and 2 of the evil elven gods.
This game has explained the thing we already have seen twice. It has explained it twice.
Well, the situation's changed. For the worse, unfortunately. The elven gods Elganan and Gillenane have escaped from Fen'Harel's prison.
Oh, they explained it for the third time. Thanks.
No, listen. The gods have returned.
So we're getting that information for the fourth time?
Elven gods escaped from their prison. Solus.
Every single cutscene is repeating the same information. God, what a fuck fest of a game. And this is not only an issue with its writing, but its gameplay as well. Characters are constantly telling you where to go.
I think we can get in over here.
Okay, you know, I've played video games, right? And how to solve the simplest of puzzles.
That's one. Now to find the other.
Look, another one of those magical beams. There are 2 of these devices this time. I bet we'll need to direct beams at both of them.
Oh, the constant tooltips telling me that I could hit these blights to get rid of them. From the second you start playing the game, it holds your hand so tightly and it never lets go.
It sounds like that opened something below.
Oh, really?
Then let's have a look.
It also has no respect for your time, as there are several quests that have you following an NPC through a town for 10 to 15 minutes. This game has a jankiness to it, too, that isn't funny or endearing like in other games. Gotta love that camera! Whoa, what am I looking at? Instead, it's incredibly inconvenient. Like, sometimes you just can't interact with stuff. Disabled during combat, babe. I'm not in combat, and I'm not disabled. So initially I had put my graphics settings to medium, but then every time I turned off my PC, the graphics settings would magically revert back to ultra, which my PC could not handle. God damn, the performance is terrible. So then I would have to put it back to medium and restart the entire game again. And that wasn't the only technical issue I suffered from either. The controller does not work at all because this is plugged in to the computer. So every time I boot up the game, I also have to come down here and unplug that. Now that this is unplugged, the controller works. These issues ensured that I was already annoyed before each and every play session. And look at this chick sweeping in the rain. What's to sweep if the ground is wet? To be fair, this game does have some beautiful scenery and some intriguing locations. Look, that's cool. These were environments that I genuinely wanted to explore at first. I liked that you got rewarded for going off the beaten path. Well, nug carving, I like my nugs. There were also collectibles you could find that would deepen the lore. I'm not reading that. I found the exploration to be the most engaging part of Dragon Age. BioWare hid little trinkets and goodies all over the place, which did incentivize me to check every nook and cranny. Goddamn, there's shit everywhere, all over. But it came at a cost. This meant that every time I entered into a new area, I would completely miss the scenery because I had been trained to constantly scan the ground for collectibles. And so sometimes I would end up missing out on something that was relatively important.
Yeah, these guys. Let me hit him first, then you can take him down.
See, I'm completely missed the introduction of a new enemy, or something. I don't even know yet, because I was exploring. Yeah, this is a new enemy. It's clear to me that the art team and the level design team didn't have any sort of communication with each other here, because I had been trained through gameplay to stare at the floor, even though the game wanted me to look at something else. To make matters worse, they just put chests all over the damn place. Within the span of this 2.5 minute clip I captured here, I found 5 chests. And it made me wonder, why are there so many chests lying around? Why hasn't anyone else opened them? And who put them here? Oh yeah, a developer did. An admittedly thoughtful, but immersion-breaking reminder that I'm playing a video game. After a while, exploring started to feel like a distraction, a hindrance, and a source of FOMO, because I was afraid of potentially missing out on a game-changing item. It also made it so that buying weapons and armor from merchants wasn't worthwhile, because I could almost always find better gear for free. But what this does is it makes gold and the merchants themselves somewhat redundant because I didn't need to buy anything from them. It's like, why bother buying shampoo from the store when I can find perfectly good shampoo from the motel bathroom for free? Don't film that! The one word I would use to describe the combat would be messy. Now, what I love about the combat in this game is that you can knock enemies off of cliffs to save time. And what I hate about it is everything else. Now, I chose to play on the hardest difficulty, which was a huge mistake, because all the hardest difficulty does is make the game more boring while shining a gigantic spotlight on all of its issues. Case in point, the enemies are spongier than a scrub daddy, which makes every combat encounter feel eternal. The enemy types range from being bland and adding nothing to the game, to enemies that are simply just annoying and add nothing to the game. For example, there's enemies that teleport, which, again, only serve to elongate combat encounters even more as they can disappear into the ether for far too long. Okay, come back. Where'd you go? Oh, there. Well, now we can play. There's another enemy that darkens the entire screen and makes it so that you can't use your companion's abilities. Oh yeah, and that thing also teleports away. It's a real hoot. Now, really what I'd like to talk about here is the parry mechanic. The way parrying works is simple. If you hold block while the marker above your head is white, you block the attack. If you press it when the marker turns yellow, though, you get a perfect parry and stun the enemy. Now, this is an awful system because it forces you to glue your eyes to the back of your character's head rather than look at the enemies on the battlefield, which actually ends up removing a layer of engagement because now I'm not reading enemy animations. I'm not scanning the battlefield for which enemies might attack me next. I'm simply staring at my character's head and waiting for a marker to turn yellow. Now, this marker is supposed to notify you of every incoming attack in the game, but there's one that it doesn't let you know about. It's this move where the enemy kind of pushes you away. It has absolutely no telegraph either. It is instant and it is unavoidable as far as I know. I think they implemented this attack to prevent you from stun-locking enemies, but to make things worse, this will even happen if you're hitting the enemy in the back, as they will instantly turn around to block your attack. It's bad design and it's a complete disrespect to the player's skill, but it gets even worse. There are times where I felt like some of my parries just weren't registering whenever I hit the block button. I started thinking that maybe I was crazy, or worse, bad at a video game. So what I did was I imported an extension into my recording software that tracks my button inputs to see if I was onto something. Let's go frame by frame, shall we? Here we go, I'm about to get attacked, right? Okay, white marker, it's gonna turn yellow, kaboom. Still haven't pressed, but it's okay. Look at this. See, okay, boom. I hit it, I hit block, okay? While it's yellow, let's see what happens. I took damage. I do not like the party system. The companions rarely ever felt like they were contributing to the fight, and they also can't die in battle or take any damage at all, so I didn't need to watch out for them. They mostly just served to clutter up the arena, making each fight feel like a disorganized mess.
Oh good, this wasn't fun enough.
Yeah. The ability wheel was also atrocious to use. It's extremely loose and imprecise, making it hard to select the actual ability that you want to select. It is really cool though that you can combine two of their abilities to create a big old explosion of magic. I can see the vision here. I'm sure at some point during development this probably had a lot more depth, but as it is now, it is so simplistic that you won't really need to put much thought into which companions you select for a mission. At one point, in search of a challenge, I went and fought a level 25 boss when I was at level 10, so he could kill me in 2 hits. What? What hurt me? What? So I patiently sat there, whittling away at his health bar for 30 minutes, thinking that once I killed him, I'd be rewarded with enough XP to launch me up to level 15, and I'd be given a weapon that would be so powerful that the enemies wouldn't feel spongy anymore. But instead, all I got was 1 level up and an uncommon ring. I got nothing for that. This honestly really broke my spirits. So after that, I went ahead and lowered the game's difficulty. Not because I was having a tough time staying alive, but because I was having a tough time staying awake. And this did momentarily make the game more fun because it felt like I was actually doing some decent damage for once, and the combat encounters weren't taking too long anymore. However, it did create a whole new slew of issues. So now that everything died pretty quickly, it meant that I really didn't need to use my companion's abilities all that much. I didn't need to explore or find new weapons anymore. Unlocking skill points was no longer exciting because I didn't need any of the traits or abilities they provided. It's weird to me that playing on normal difficulty only served to nullify even more of the game's mechanics. It became abundantly clear to me that they didn't playtest or tune any of this game's difficulties. All they did was adjust enemy health bar and damage values and called it a day. So the cutscenes are mainly just exposition.
This
isn't right. The dock usually has people bringing goods to market, bartering and shouting. It's always busy.
Something happened here.
Oh, I had to piece that together myself. As I mentioned earlier, the game repeats itself ad nauseum, sometimes even within 5 seconds of itself.
Hey, what's going on here?
Find the veil jumpers. Bring them to the mayor.
They're talking about Jahel and Milva.
They said bring them to the mayor.
It feels like 33% of the dialogue is just repeated information. Now, this wastes the writer's time because they have to sit there and write it all out multiple times. It wastes the actor's time because they gotta do multiple takes of that line in the booth.
No. It's okay. That's the good kind of rumble.
It wastes the developer's time because they gotta sit there and program the dialogue into the game, and the sound designers need to make sure it's mixed properly. Then it wastes the player's time especially, as they have to sit there and listen to it, making the collective time wasted hundreds of thousands, if not millions of hours. They would have saved so much time and money if they just had anyone, proofread the fucking script before having an actor record it. So I really wanted to start skipping the dialogue, but you can't. You need to pay attention to it so that you make the right choices in conversation. Except sometimes the dialogue options you choose aren't what they initially appear to be.
No offense, but having an abomination in the lighthouse makes me nervous.
Wait, that's not what I meant by that. I meant I'll keep an eye on you, as in I will keep you safe. Not, I'll keep an eye on you because I don't trust you. If I knew that's what he was going to say, I would not have picked that. Then to top it all off, guess what? Surprise, the acting is bad.
You gave them to the gods, didn't you? Didn't you?
They were in my head, infecting my thoughts. They made me do it.
But you can't really blame the actors here. It'd be tough to make any of this dialogue sound good or natural. The tone of this game is sickeningly sweet. Like, everybody here seems so jovial and upbeat, despite the fact that the fate of the entire kingdom is at stake. Yet, everyone seems perfectly content with what's going on. It makes it so that none of these characters feel real or believable. Something is just so off. It almost feels like they live in North Korea, and their dear leader is listening to every single conversation that they have. And if they say the wrong thing, they'll be executed in front of everyone at Pyongyang Square. I got so damn sick of the overly jovial tone that all the main characters seem to have.
Aren't you some sunshine?
That's me.
And it made me feel genuine discomfort, and a true, sickness, a pit in my stomach. And I started building up a resentment towards the game and the characters. This sound, that's how it feels. To sit there and watch the cutscenes in Dragon Age. Eventually I realized that I was skipping every combat encounter I could because combat wasn't fun. I was skipping most of the cutscenes because they were repetitive and sickening. And I was skipping out on exploration because I no longer had any reason or desire to explore and level up my character. And if I'm actively avoiding having to play the game while I am actively playing the game, then there is no point in playing the game. And with each new play session, there was less fun to be had because more and more glaring issues kept popping up. And I honestly, truly tried my best to have fun with this game. But there was no fun to be had. And so I made the choice to do something I've never done in any of my videos. To quit playing the game before I'd beaten it. So I didn't even get to the point where I could unlock Tosh as a companion. I only made it 13 hours. This whole video is based off of 13 hours of gameplay. Had I played the remaining 66% of the game, God only knows the content I would have gotten, but I had to stop. The final straw came when I was trying to complete Nev's companion quest, which had her giving me a tour of the very same city she already gave me a tour of a few hours prior. So I couldn't do it anymore. It turns out that I gave her up. Turns out that I let her down. And as such, I deserve to be punished. One. Alright, I'll be real with you, camera. The reason I came out here to this motel was because I got extremely burnt out from making videos on some of the worst games imaginable last year. If I were to play this game to completion, I'm afraid that it would ruin me and burn me out even more. I've also decided that I'm going to be making some small changes to the channel this year. There's going to be a better balance between good games and bad games, and I plan on experimenting a little bit, making different types of content that are video game related, but I'm going to play around a little bit with different formulas like I did with my Borderlands video last year, with the ultimate goal being to learn as many formulas as possible and to put multiple formulas into one video for what is hopefully a dynamic viewing experience. Oh, no. It's overflowing. Oh, yeah. Okay, that's pretty hot. I think I'm just gonna leave this here. Maybe I'll just go to bed and come back to it in the morning. All right, guys. That pretty much does it for this video. I'll see you guys in the next one. Good night. Do you smell that?
Thank you.
So, I'm non-binary.
Dragon Age is the perfect representation of the Red Letter Media meme.
How does it feel to have lived long enough to see all of your favorite franchises go down in flames?
Feels great.
I've been a fan of Dragon Age since Origins. I remember the major selling point of the game, this is a spiritual successor to Baldur's Gate. And I thought to myself, oh man, I heard that that's a legendary game. Everything Dragon Age Origins was memorable. The characters, the dialogue, the voice actors were amazing. Kate Mulgrew as Flemeth was absolutely iconic.
Before I go, a word of advice. We stand upon the precipice of change. The world fears the inevitable plummet into the abyss. Watch for that moment, and when it comes, do not hesitate to leap. It is only when you fall that you learn whether you can fly.
Cheap advice from a dragon.
We all have our challenges. We're going to regret bringing her here. Regret is something I know well. Take care not to cling to it, to hold it so close that it poisons your soul. When the time comes for your regrets, remember me.
2,000 years later.
Emmerich, you clearly find talking about dragons boring.
What? How? Who doesn't like dragons?
Aren't you curious why Tash likes them as much as you like necromancy? The question crossed my mind. And maybe Emmerich could help demystify magic, Tash.
See what I mean? That is not how you speak to adults. That is how you speak to a toddler when you are teaching them to share their Optimus Prime toy with their little brother.
Her other big role, arguably could be bigger, was Captain Janeway in Voyager.
She was also Big Red, Orange is the New Black, show that convinced liberal white women they might be bisexual.
Tim Curry as Renard Howard.
As are your allies. It appears it will be civil war after all, despite the Darkspawn. Pity.
Best known as Dr. Frankenfooter from Rocky Horror Picture Show, and a myriad of other characters. I miss when my queer actors were not raving lunatic activists on Twitter, but brilliant performers/singers that didn't put their sexuality or lifestyle in your face. You knew that they were gay or whatever, and you didn't care. He had Freddie Mercury energy. The golden age of when your gay people were talented and they weren't obnoxious. Take me back, Clarence.
Purge! Purge! Have returns, please! Please!
Then there was the Awakening DLC that expanded upon the story of Dragon Age even further. Dragon Age 2, that was a rushed mess. Literally, I vomited from the reused assets and stages during my second playthrough. And Inquisition, I didn't really gel with it, and I didn't have time to really get into it. Adult life. But that was another time in gaming. It was the golden age of BioWare, except for Jade Empire. That one fell kind of flat. And let's be real here, the BioWare of that day and age is long gone. I don't know what in God's name we have, but it's borderline regarded. On June 6th, I was oblivious to the information that surrounded Dragon Age, other than it was coming out. And as a fan, I tend to avoid spoilers for games I'm interested in, like the plague.
Dragon Age, Veilguard, game director who describes himself as a queerosexual gendermancer, claims game is inherently queer.
What the hell is even that?
Daddy, chill.
Jesus H. Christ. That's an actual Frank quote.
With a title like that, I can't help but feel so very tired. And had I seen this beforehand, I would have already been ready for what Dragon Age was. Another skin suit game paraded around in front of me as I grinded my teeth into dust. And somebody screamed,
"He's a bigot!" Bruce detailed, as a queer trans woman, I have a perspective on the game that not everyone has. Dragon Age has long been a place where LGBTQ plus AI, two-spirit, and other things, folks,
That is such a long time.
can see people like themselves represented respectfully. It's inherently very queer, and it's such a rare thing for marginalized communities to have representation where we feel proud and powerful in how we are depicted.
Why can't I be Markiplier? I just want to play games and go, look out. Kibbles and bits. Whatever the hell it is. No, I'm serious. You better edit it out.
Whenever progressives come into a position of power in entertainment, they always self-insert every single time. Dragon Age Origins was so well written, it's easy to get invested in the story and the characters. The issue is, when the weird theater kids grow up and start making these games themselves, representation is the complete focus. That's when things go off the rail. If you watch an interview of the original BioWare devs talking about Dragon Age Origins, there's so much focus on the story and the gameplay, not sexuality or marginalized groups in a dark fantasy. It was about the story. Groups of people trying to save the world from ending.
It's so deeply meaningful for so many. I often get emotional when I think about what it would have meant for a younger version of myself to see someone like her in the game, and as a hero, no less. I hope we could be a safe place for our queer players to know they're not alone, that they are brilliant and worthy, that they are not only welcome but celebrated.
Why do we only celebrate one group of people? Out of my just idle curiosity. I know this is different, but for God's sake, can something just exist outside of the realm of your sexuality and your being?
This reminds me of the black woman from Wicked, rambling about her queerness and how she brings something to the character no one else does because she's black and queer.
Intention is not to diminish anyone else's version of Elphaba.
Yeah, of course not.
Ever. But the intention is to allow her to show up as me in my body.
Right.
And I loathe to make it about this, but it is what it is. As a black woman who is queer, who shows up in this way,
absolutely,
there's something that I have that many other Elphabas don't have.
And it's kind of like, what does it matter? You're playing a character, not yourself.
When a person's sexuality or gender ideology has to be injected into an IP, annoyance and mediocrity ensues.
Stop him!
I mean, when I watch those old Dragon Age trailers, they don't come off as inherently queer to me. It also shows the storytelling of the original BioWare. One trailer called The Calling came out before the game even launched. And it wasn't until players finished the game that they understood the deeper meaning behind the trailer, The Calling, which then made it even more badass and tragic. Instead, we're celebrating little alphabet people again.
The Shadow Dragons say there are people who use they instead of he or she. They're not men or women. And I like how it feels when I imagine myself that way.
Please, I want to die. Anyway, after this article went live, the game director locked their account.
Tristan, it's gone.
BioWare Dragon Age has been renamed to Dragon Age. Wait, it was Dreadwolf. New gameplay trailer to debut on June the 11th. I'm hoping for a great game, free of modern politics. Uh-oh. On June 9th, Dragon Age The Veilguard official trailer was launched. This is when I became aware of the nightmare that awaited me. The reception was less than stellar. The art direction at the time was an issue most people had. It looked like a goddamn MOBA. Little did we know that was just the tip of the representation iceberg that was sinking the good ship nostalgia. The trailer itself reeked of a soullessness you can't quite define or put your finger on, that has become so ubiquitous with AAA gaming today. Maybe it's the modernized cover of the classic David Bowie song, We Could Be Heroes.
And between us and a pack of demons.
Driving home that the alphabet people were not only welcome but celebrated and that they could be heroes, playing in the background with the stupid hero shooter introduction poses for each character that was feeding into my piss poor attitude and reception for the game that was shared by at least 200,000 people who saw it. But I wasn't alone in my sentiments. The trailer backlash was so significant, the game director removed BLM and any other virtue signaling badges from their bio.
Oh no! What happened? What happened? Oh no! How terrible! That's just awful! How terrible! Oh no!
Dragon Age director deletes flags from BLM and bio as soon as Dragon Age trailer backlash hit.
Basically, when these people realized, whoa, not everybody loves this. Uh-oh, time to hide. People are mad. It's the usual. Edit that out.
On September 16th, the character creator was revealed. And the best way to describe my move was Steve Buscemi cat.
But he, him, she, her, and they, them, and then your gender is man, woman, non-binary. Love that. Love the inclusivity. Top surgery scars are also included in this for all of our trans and non-binary rooks out there. I absolutely was blown away by this. It's beautiful to see the inclusion in the game and to see yourself represented.
Right.
Breaking Dragon Age The Veilguard character customization features have been revealed. You can call yourself a Lamborghini and choose they, them, binary pronouns. But that's not all. Players can now customize female characters' chest and top surgery scars. Thoughts?
The original video was 9 to 10 minutes of gushing about hair physics, representation, and surgery scars. In a world with magic, one can't help but wonder why surgery would be needed to change your gender or your appearance if you can literally transform into a dragon or raise the dead.
Using my brain again. Everybody knows that common sense is the biggest defense.
Oddly enough, bigger breasts and bigger butts were not on the menu for the slider. Well, that just don't make sense.
Look what the homosexuals have done to me.
Have these people even seen real women?
They've seen real ugly women. That's what they've seen. And then if they see an attractive woman, they'll say something like, it's an unrealistic beauty standard. Yeah, the mark of a loser. All right? When a guy looks at a dude who's ripped, we don't sit there and go, it's an unrealistic beauty standard. We gotta hit the gym.
Oh no, gooners can't make big breasts together.
Yeah, but I can give her a bulge. That's where things done.
You stupid motherfucker.
Dragon Age The Veilguard. Can I cut off my boobas? Yes. Can I add cellulite? Yes. Can I add vitiligo? Yeah.
Why is vitiligo there? Let's just move on. Finally, it came from Michael Jackson.
Can I enlarge my chest and have thin hips to reflect my anatomy as a woman? No. You should be ashamed of yourself. Well, that doesn't make any sense. Let's check the director. Oh no.
Right to edit this out for YouTube.
Within 4 days, games journalism gave Dragon Age the Concord treatment, and IGN was leading the charge.
The hair in Dragon Age Veilguard. Oh, hearts emojis.
Oh boy, look at that hair.
Look at that hair. Like, look at it.
This is Dragon Age the Veilguard, and if you're familiar at all with the series, you know that the last game's hair physics were not great. Like, really not great. The team at BioWare heard a lot of the criticisms and spent like a ton of time and effort to make sure the hair would look good this time around. And for a game where you can create your own character with a myriad of different hairstyles,
How's the gameplay?
Never mind that. BioWare's teamed up with Vidal Sassoon, you bigot.
The character creator in Dragon Age Veilguard is amazing. We have more looks at what our staff made in Dragon Age, the Veilguard character creator. Yum yum!
the character creator in Dragon Age the Veilguard is incredible. There are so many options and sliders, from the usuals like hair color and style, eye shape, noses, all the way down to things like bulge size, vitiligo, we got that. Heterochromia, of course.
It don't matter. None of this matters.
I hate American journalism. I can't wait for it to... AI will take your job. Edit that out.
While IGN was busy shilling the character creator for Dragon Age, Japanese gamers were in Monster Hunter creating characters from anime, video games, and movies. The Japanese were even accurately recreating their pets because the character and creator in Monster Hunter is leaps and bounds better than Dragon Age that we're pretending is the new hot. My god, let me take that back.
Dragon Age is obviously far superior to chess guard.
This post is another massive L by IGN, which they collect though. But at the end of the day, they still got paid, so who's the real loser? That would probably be me. This post also reminded people of how far the character design in Dragon Age had fallen since previous iterations. In my opinion, the Qunari design peaked in Dragon Age 2. It was tolerable in Inquisition, but the designs they had for the newest game turned a warrior race into as big of a joke as the game itself.
Dragon Age has ruined the design of Qunari.
And Darkspawn.
BioWare needs to stop constantly changing the designs of the Dragon Age series.
You're right, Tyler. Too bad they won't listen. This is par for the course. The game is now in the hands of people who lean hard left. You can't expect them to know how to design a warrior race of people without covering them in bright colors and jewelry. These are the types of people who find masculinity problematic unless it's a woman. Oh my god, the irony.
I haven't seen this yet. We can let... Huh?
I brought her down. She's mine by right.
Who are you?
Makara.
Mara Namra Benori Bala. A Tasmartaros, a Sintarala. Juto.
As the game circled the drain before it even launched, some assumed the blowback for Dragon Age was because of Grums.
You guys do realize Dragon Age Veilguard is rated M, right? If you, as a grown-ass adult,
Can't get past the fact that there's an option deep in the character customization for top surgery scars that I can't fathom how difficult your day-to-day existence is.
Cut it out, caveman. That option is not deep in the character customization. Nothing here is deep. It's a slider, mind you. Left or right, left or right. What's wrong with you?
don't buy the game. Done. Go play something else. You're not fighting a battle alongside Grumps. You're just wasting your time. Well,
Guess what, caveman? It seems like people took a listen, because it's not flying off the shelf.
bring up Grumps as if everyone who disagrees with BioWare's awful marketing of this game must be doing it because of him. Out of here. BioWare has chosen to showcase and market this game on a bunch of features gamers don't care about.
Hallelujah.
That is an indicator they are more focused on virtue signaling than selling the actual game. Not to mention the changes they made that have pushed away longtime fans of Dragon Age, long before the character creator was...
Epic Mike is right. I know more about the character's sexuality, representation, and the character creator than I know what the story is about. It's done an amazing job of letting gamers new to the franchise and longtime fans know you will not be escaping from gender ideology in your fantasy role-playing game today, little mister.
Dragon Age Veilguard is everything that repels me from modern AAA gaming. Marketing overemphasizes diversity details for controversy. News calling it Game of the Year contender because of innovative DEI features and story, while acknowledging dull combat. The gameplay does not look fun at all. I guess I'm not the target audience, so back to Black Myth Wukong, Game of the Year and Indies.
I could read pages of tired gamers that the gaming media and ideologues would call bigots or ists and phobes, but we'll just move on to more shilling.
This completely sold me on Mages and Dragon Age The Veilguard. PC Gamer! It's so good!
This game is so generic. Nothing special or innovative. It's homogenous, modern-day mage gameplay that you have seen before and done better elsewhere. Bravissimo, Game of the Year.
I mean, it's great! I felt a neuron activate in me. The moment I saw the Mage and Dragon Age The Veilguard's latest trailer, teleport dodge out of an attack like it was nothing. Mages always blame the flashiest spells for the fight, but if I get to Dark Souls dodge roll with magic, I will not play another class. BioWare reveals all the ways Dragon Age The Veilguard involves relationships, and its steamiest romances too. First look with IGN.
You could totally get an AI to write this trash.
As we edge closer to the Dragon Age Veilguard, there's been an overwhelmingly positive reaction from those who have had a chance to preview the game. An exhaustive character creative, slick combat, and expansive scenery definitely left us excited to get our hands on Veilguard this October. But if you're a Dragon Age fanatic, you may be wondering about the incredibly vital thing. Who do we get to kiss? As part of our continued IGN First coverage, we sat down with the game's creator, Karini Bruges, to talk romance and relationships as a vital part of the game.
Blah, 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 blah. Different flavors of romance.
You want a buff gym rat, Tosh. A heroic pet dad, Darvin. An elegant older fellow with the emotional support, Skeleton. Emmerich, of course. There are 7 companions total, and yes, you get to smooch all of them.
Only if you're bisexual or queer in the game. If you're heterosexual, you get like 2 romance options. I'm spoiling the video for you.
We really don't want to keep them relatable, more grounded. Some of them are quite sensual, some of them are more physical, some are more romantic, some are more spicy. Says the game director. The variety of the game's romances, you may or may not wake up in a coffin. Oh my god, I hate gaming journalism.
My disappointment is immeasurable, and my day is ruined.
PC Gamer, playing 6 hours of Dragon Age Vanguard gave me the faith its trailer couldn't. This is the BioWare comeback fans want.
Previously on
PC Gamer.
It's hard to complain about hero shooter fatigue when Concord looks this good.
Nice! Nice! Oh, it's Greg Miller. He likes it. That's the stamp of approval if I ever saw one.
I was very happy when Tosh said that they are they. I liked seeing them lean into that. So many of the Kind of Funny audience are non-binary or trans, and over the years, as that for some reason has had to become an issue on the grand scale of things.
I wonder why.
I have been so blessed to know you, non-binary best friends, to know you, trans best friends.
He's kinda gay.
Demonize you. I hope that fiction like this on a mainstream AAA platform helps. I hope that, movies and literature and everything else is able to give a window in to what this is. Shockingly, this isn't a big freaking deal.
Yeah, the game is selling about as well as Razor Blade Love plays, because it's not a big deal and everybody's cool with it. Right, Miller, you're a great ally.
I've played about 7 hours of Dragon Age Vanguard. If it maintains this level of quality, in terms of story, gameplay, and graphics, and choice, this could easily be my game of the year. Let's talk about it.
Let's see some other classic hits from Miller. Thriller Miller.
Life is Strange, True Colors is my current game of the year. Come get the review. And me and the game's newscast. Also, Starfield 2023 Game of the Year. Roll your dice and glue your sticks together somewhere else, nerd. When's the last time everyone on the Kind of Funny Gamescast platinumed the game we're reviewing? Spider-Man 2 is a delight and my new game of the year.
Kind of Funny failed on YouTube, being a whitelisted channel, and that speaks volumes about how out of touch they are with the average gamer. When my ass stays getting pulled from recommended, and I still somehow reach more people.
I'm losing my mind, dude. I hate this video already.
I'm suspicious now. IGN has been totally advertising this game by telling us how amazing very basic things are. Look how good the hair is. Look how good this really basic character creator is. Whereas the body slider barely changes anything. Something is fishy here. While Dragon Age and Veilguard companions will form their own relationships, it sounds like we'll still be able to interfere with them. They might come to you for advice, and I can't guarantee you'll give them good advice.
I don't even want to be involved in my real friends' love lives. Why in the world would I want to do it in a game? What's wrong with you?
Dragon Age creative director confirms to Game Rant that the game's entire cast is chronologically pansexual.
That's just great. This game is the Portland, Oregon of dark fantasy.
October 17th, Nerd interviewed a playtester for Dragon Age. The video was called I Talked to Dragon Age, the Veilguard playtester, and he confirmed my worst fears. What a lovely title. Nothing but good things can come of this.
So you said that it's much worse than we think. What can you say about it why, for you, why is it so much worse?
The one thing that I was like baffled by it, the Kunari.
Mm-hmm.
When I was talking with her, first of all, you need to understand that this is fantasy game.
Yes.
Our words, it's different than their words.
Exactly.
For example, she told me that I am a non-binary person. How the hell that a fantasy game in like Thedas have the word binary? I don't like men and I don't like women. I identify myself as non-binary.
Just like that.
And that's just like that.
Not even a new word. Like they didn't even make up like a new word in lore.
Okay, if you are a heterosexual person,
yes,
and you want to have a romance with someone,
yeah,
guess what? For a male, I am a male, and I want to have a romance options with the females.
Yes,
I have either a dwarf or, like a very ugly woman. The Tevinter one.
Yeah, Neve, no? Neve or whatever.
It's either Neve or Scout Harden, and that's it. If you are not heterosexual, you can romance anyone you want. Anyone. Put anything in for the Grey Warden. He basically a scout in the Grey Warden that he didn't fully finish his training, and now after because we played in the Whiteout, the castle, in the Underfell. So we went there, and he was the one that decided the entire Grey Warden once again, and he is nobody.
So just a guy that is just new to the Grey Wardens gets to decide everything.
Yeah. Why? Because he is like have a different skin tone.
I saw like in Inquisition, like Josephine and Colin, they're just they're just there to talk to them.
Yes, and basically, she don't know anything about the background. She don't know if they, she don't have a child. She don't have, she don't know who's the hero for Odin. There is none.
You cannot even ask him. Like she doesn't say anything about that. She's like there.
She doesn't have any dialogue option to say anything about like a hero for Odin.
Everything the leakers shared worried many fans, and sadly, everything he said was true. I didn't share every clip, but the long and the short of it is, playtesting the game was pointless because all of his suggestions about the game were utterly ignored. Most likely, they just wanted to make sure it wasn't broken, and that was it.
Am I so out of touch? No, it's the children who are wrong.
It gets much worse. Former and current BioWare Dragon Age writer mocks gamers and poo-pooed their feedback openly on social media, claims Veilguard companions are one absolute smoke show.
What? Where's the smoke show?
while gamers hate the new character designs. This shows how little they think of you. Don't buy games from developers that hate you. After mocking and insulting gamers who made his career, former lead writer of Dragon Age predictably goes protected.
Let's read those hot takes.
The female characters aren't hot enough. Yet because they've clued into the notion, this is obviously incel behavior. They swapped out unattractive for masculine, and thus transgender, because that's a framing which makes them seem political instead of porn brain. But we all know what they mean. And here I am, recalling how this has been a thing ever since some dude whined 10 years ago about Cassandra actually being a man, posting over and over and over about her giant jaw, and posting phrenology pics to scientifically prove why his pee-pee remains flaccid.
Sometimes I feel like the discourse around video gaming is getting so absolutely stupid that I can barely stand it on any level.
But let's just be real here, no matter how you frame it. This female character that's now non-binary looks like a dude. It looks like a black guy that painted blue and threw some horns on him.
Don't ask questions. Just consume product and then get excited for next product.
Ironically, women don't like ugly female characters either. I guess we have some
Hello? Hey, I'm good, thank you. How are you? Nope. I've been up.
I wondered if I could come by and drop this TV off.
Yeah, sounds good.
Okay, I just gotta get myself together, so it'll be about, I don't know, 20 minutes, half an hour, is that alright?
Yeah, sounds good.
Okay.
Okay, see you. Bye. Bye.
And fem chuds on our hands. Pull up the article.
New research on female video game characters uncovers a surprising twist. Oh no, what is it, Barry? Can a strong female character who is also highly sexualized inspire positive perceptions from players? Not necessarily, according to the new study. In communication research, researchers found that while strength in a female video game character might signal capability, doesn't counterbalance the negative impact of sexualization. But in the surprising twist, female participants, despite generally disliking highly sexualized characters, were more likely to choose these characters when given the opportunity to play so.
Because women are hypocrites. That's the bottom line. Women make fun of chicks uglier than them, and they hate women better looking than them. That's how they roll, even if the chick is digital.
The study shed light on why even in today's gaming landscape, characters' designs matter, and how different types of interaction, from watching to playing, shape players' perception. A character's sexual appeal and strength both play a role in how players perceive them. These perceptions shift depending on whether players are simply watching or actively engaging with the character.
Let's move on. Oh god, it's Dave.
I'm in the process of finally shutting down my Twitter account, yet I notice a fresh spat of angry mentions, these more clueless than the last. What could I have... I mentioned incels, so who should take notice? But their sweaty palms self-declared emotional
support him.